This is the second game we're going to do in this session. You had a rating of 987, and your opponent had a rating of 980, and you were white. E4, E5, and he played. Well, we can put the opening moves on the board quickly because both of you play proper chess by developing your stuff. H6 is a bit of a strange move, but of course it keeps, well, not that strange. It keeps the bishop from G5, which would pin his knight. He wants to avoid that. So bishop E3, you develop everybody. And here knight D4. Now he makes a bit, playing with the same piece twice like you did in the first game. Bishop E7, and then castling is more logical. But he played knight D4. You took. Not only was knight D4 playing with the same piece twice, he also gave away a pawn.
Yeah, and I thought that the rhythm's coming more to me now. I'm feeling the flow of exchanges and that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a central pawn as well. It's an important pawn that he's given away. And only now does he develop and castle. And yeah, you have a nice advantage with an extra pawn. So opening has gone really well. Queen E2, C5, kicking your bishop. You just drop back. Rook C8. And he wants to trap your bishop, but it doesn't work. Knight D5 and C4. He thinks, or he hopes he's trapping your bishop. But it's not trapped because you have a lot of control over the C4 square. You could have just taken on C4, B takes, bishop takes, and you've won a second pawn.
Yeah.
So your bishop wasn't trapped.
Yeah.
Instead, you took on F6 with check. And bishop takes, and now you took on C4. It's almost the same thing. The only difference is that he can now take on B2 because you took on F6, and then the bishop appeared there, and now he can take a pawn back.
Yeah.
It's still very good for you because you're also going to win the A6 pawn. First, you kick the bishop, he defends it, and you take on A6. So you're 2 pawns up anyway. And move 20, 2 pawns up, safe king. Active pieces, everybody happy.
Yeah.
Queen A5, bishop back, bishop B5. When we're ahead of material, we don't mind trading pieces. So bishop takes B5, he takes with the queen, and I guess in the same way we can also swap the queens. You didn't do that, but why not swap the queens here and then play with 2 extra pawns in an endgame.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
I just feel like once I trade my queen, maybe this is a beginner thing that's still in me. I feel like a lot of my attacks gone.
That is definitely not a beginner thing. That is true, of course. With the queens off the board, attacks are not that strong. But you don't have much of an attack anyway. His king is perfectly safe. If his king was in the open, like in the previous game, then I would say, Aran, keep the queens on the board because you're going to give that king a lot of hassle with your queen. But in a position like this where both kings are quite safe and you're 2 pawns up, I would say, if you like the queens on, I'm perfectly okay with that. It does, if you like to play with the queens, that's actually part of it's brave. Keep the queens on, even if your material up is a brave way to play. You're quite a brave player, so if that's your style, then I'm perfectly fine with that. From a practical point of view, if you're material ahead, you might as well swap the queens when you can. That will make your material advantage way more heavy.
Yeah.
But okay, C4, perfectly fine move. Queen E5.
Oh yeah, and then I thought attackers. Oh, I thought attackers versus defenders, but he moved his queen to still defending.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that was important. You improve your rook. Improving your pieces is important, and you did that. Rook F8, and here a strange move, Bishop D4.
So my thought was, if I can get the queen. So I've just noticed that there's still the attackers and defenders. My hope was to win the bishop on B2.
Yeah, that is your hope, but instead you don't win a bishop, you lose one.
Yeah.
Because your bishop on D4 is only defended once and it's attacked twice.
There you go.
So yeah, I understand. It's just a little. I understand what you're trying to do. Win that bishop by attacking it again a third time. In this case, it doesn't work. What if you attack it in a different way? Bishop c1.
Yeah. So take. Oh yeah, there's three now. Three
Yeah.
attackers versus. Oh yeah. So where was it before? Sorry.
This is the position. You
Yeah.
played bishop d4, and we're now looking at an alternative bishop c1.
Yeah, that's right.
Is that? Do you now win at bishop on b2 after bishop c1, Aaron, or what's going on here?
1, 2, 3. I think I win because I take on b2. He, let's say, takes with the rook. I take with the rook. He won't take with the queen because I can win the queen at the end.
Yeah, true. So that's a threat. The threat is to take on b2. But is black to move? Can he get out of this trouble?
Can he? Yeah, can he move the bishop to c3?
He can. You can also just take on c1, swap the bishop off.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So I understand what you're saying. I like the fact that you're thinking about how can I win that bishop. It's just not, bishop c1 does not win the bishop. Bishop d4 does not win the bishop. You cannot win that bishop, even though it looks like you can put it in some trouble, but you just don't have the tactic is not there. And sometimes the tactic isn't there, but you still have to look at it, and that's what you did. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, just your execution was not correct. Bishop d4 is unfortunately not winning the bishop. It's losing a bishop. He could just have taken it, but he didn't. He believed you, and that happens a lot in chess as well, that you believe your opponent, or we call that sometimes mutual chess blindness, that you both miss something obvious.
Yeah.
He saw his queen being attacked, and he saved his queen.
Yay.
Yay, because now your plan works after all. Take, and take. And we've won the bishop. Queen
Hold
takes
on.
queen.
1, 2. So I'm up a piece. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2 pawns up and a piece.
Yeah. And now 1 pawn and a piece.
Oh yeah.
You can take on g7. That's attacked twice and only defended by the king.
Did I do that?
You didn't do it. Yeah, you played, but I like h3. Making a bit of air for the king if it ever is necessary. For the moment it's not necessary because your rook is on the bottom rank. But always good to make a bit of air. If you're winning position, make sure you don't get back rank mated in some stage. So I like h3.
Would you agree in the last game and this game? Well, we've got to agree with the last game. I had no. I'm not saying this is I'm winning it like I'm going to win here, but I have winning positions.
Oh yeah. Oh well, that's very clear. I mean, the last game you were 5 queens up, and in this game you're a piece up and a pawn. So yes, the answer is yes. You had this one.
Yeah.
He played d5, queen b6, attacking the unprotected rook. Always good. He saves it, but he weakens his back rank. You give a check, and you go back. Rook d6, because you attacked the rook was attacked again, and here you get the queens off the board.
Okay, fair play.
Fair play. Way to do it. Especially now you're a piece up. Time to get the queens off the board, and you have a simply winning endgame. So the queen, he has to swap the queens because the queen is pinned. So
yeah,
he takes, rook takes, and he wins a pawn. Okay, he's got a pawn for his trouble, but you're still a full piece up, and you should be able to win this. Bishop c5, rook c6, bishop e3. He pushes his pawn. Yeah.
I want a chess lesson. I'm playing chess. I want a chess lesson. Fucking hell. Sorry, Rick.
No problem at all.
Yeah.
Okay, so his only trump card is a c pawn. But so you make sure that pawn doesn't go any further. Rook c4 and a4. Yeah. In opening and middle game, we want to keep our king safe. But in the end game, we want to play with all our pieces because we don't have that many left. Maybe the only exception is queen endgames because the queens are so strong, then the king still wants to be safe. But in this type of endgame, you need to activate your king. And king f1 is almost an automatic move. You go to e2, you go to d3, and you're going to win that pawn on c3, which is his only trump card left.
Do you think, is it worth me playing bishop to d2? Because if he takes, I take the rook, and then, oh, no, then it's a queen. Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Okay, well, a little tactic. It doesn't work, but it's good to look at it. I guess after king f1, you probably are threatening that. Well, no, not yet. If your king's on e2, then you're threatening that because then your king protects the promoted square. So it's another reason why it is important to activate your king.
Yeah.
So you said in one of your messages you want to work on endgames. Well, this is really important in endgames. Activate the king.
Yeah.
The king is a very strong piece in the endgame. It's almost worth a rook. That's how strong the king is. And you make your life a lot easier when you bring your king into the game. You played a4 instead. Those pawns were swapped. Check.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it's still totally winning. I just wanted to point out the principal thing of activating the king in the endgame. Let's see what happens. Put some moves on the board. Well, you win another pawn. Thank you very much. Always handy to win another pawn.
I lost this as well.
No, it's a draw. Going to be a draw.
Oh.
Let's have a look. Another stalemate. We shouldn't have said that for readers who don't want to know. Anyway, king g3.
Okay.
Activating the king. Defending the pawn on f2. Yeah. Well, a lot is happening here. He gives away another pawn. Thank you very much, says Aran.
Yeah.
And yeah, rook c8 check. That is now that is a 700 move, Aran. Rook c8 check. You know, if you want to, that's just a check. And what does he do? He activates his king. So you don't want to help him. So a nice move, 1,000 or 1,200 move is rook c7. Keep the king on the bottom rank.
Right.
That's the only thing it does at the moment, but it keeps the king away from activity. And rook c8 check is a bad move.
Can I just say, in one of my games, right? I was playing and I was a few pieces down, as most of the time I sometimes are, although I'm not in these games. And I put both rooks on the 7th rank, and then I moved the rook to h7 and g7, and I won with checkmate. And he was up. I think I might even been a queen down, if I'm honest, and I still won with the 7th rank rooks.
Yeah, rooks love the 7th rank or the 2nd rank if it's black. So yes. And that's another reason. Rook c7 on the 7th rank is where the rook likes to be. But more importantly, here it cuts off the black king from getting active. And with rook c8 check, which you played, that is just giving a check because it's a check. And his king is now happier than it was a move ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess I made that point a number of times now. Rook c5. I mean, you're still totally winning, by the way. So again, if you look at this with an engine, the engine will not point that out. So that's why I said it, because otherwise you would not learn this. The positions you played actually quite well. Okay, you let this king being active, but it's not enough because you're so much material up. And you choose the right plan. You start running with the pawn. And even better here, you get the rooks off the board, which makes your life even easier. Trading down again. And
where did it all go wrong?
Yeah, we'll get there. Activating the king. Okay, a bit late, but better late than never.
Yeah.
Gives his last pawn away, and now he has no material left, so the only danger is stalemate. Hang on, where did we go? Yeah, king h5, all good so far. Push the f pawn. And king g8. And now you played that one.
Conquer there, conquer there, conquer there, conquer there.
Yeah. So the way you play here is king g5. I just show you one winning line, right? It's simple. I'm going to bring the king over. He cannot leave the g pawn because it's going to queen, so he has to hang around there. And now they can both promote. You know, just be careful, it's not a stalemate. So this, for example,
wow,
like that, king h4 and checkmate. Just to give you one example line, not very difficult, well within your grasp to win this position. The only thing is you have to, on every move, make sure your opponent still has a legal move to make.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so again, great game, and stalemate was the outcome. But yeah, also for the viewers, Aran wins many games. But in these sessions, we look at games where things in the end did not go so well.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything else on this one, Aran?
No, thank you.
Well played.